Thank you for joining me. I'm Core Bishop Don Sawyer, pastor and founder of Our Lady's Maronite Parish. And today we will be looking back at how our parish has grown and developed. I'm going to take you back to the time that our parish hall was built and how we grew as a community. On April the 7th, 1985, we had Easter liturgy on the property. We didn't have anything, no building, but right on the property. We borrowed a tent from Cook Walden, and after liturgy, we broke ground for the construction of the parish hall. Here you see Clint Gerke turning the soil. He was a contractor. We hired him and his company for the construction of our parish hall. Johnny Joseph and his sister Margie Joseph, they were the ones who donated the land in the back, the 5 acres. This is the land that we used as collateral so we could buy the property between the back 5 acres and all the way up to 51st Street. It connected. It was all contingent. Now here's Howard Joseph. He's also turning the soil. And Howard used to always tell me, which I've always remembered, Father, everybody is somebody. Everybody wants to be somebody, and that's okay because they are somebody. And I still remember his words, and he said, we'll get there, holy priest. And yet in God's eyes, each one of us is unique and each one is someone. Louis Ziggup, Myrtle Bashara, Harry Saman, Susan McDade, also breaking ground. They were on the planning committee. Then we started building the parish hall, and it took us 8 months to finish it. We were growing, and we had 2 liturgies on Sunday. Here we see one of the samples of the panels. Our parish hall was built with tilt wall. They called it Waffle Crete building. Here is a group of us standing in the archway on the first of the panels that started creating the Julia J. Sawyer Event Center. This other one, this is a picture of Anthony Daywood, Louis Ziggup, and myself. We were very proud of the building, and there's a story worth sharing. It was raining, and we wanted to go ahead and start building and pouring the concrete. We were praying for it to clear up so we could get that foundation done. So one night after liturgy, Clint, the contractor, tells me, pray for the rain to stop. He said it won't be rain, and we need it. We've been delaying it. So I prayed. I told him, don't worry, you'll be able to pour next morning. And so when I woke up at 6 p.m., I realized, oh my gosh, it was still dark. They're pouring. That second day came, and daybreak was coming up, and I came over to the church, and he said, Father, pray for clouds now, because the first part was poured towards the east end, and it's drying too fast, but we don't want the rain. So it was 10,000 square feet, first towards the driveway, and anyway, so we had the weather to start, and we started. We prayed, the cloud came over, shaded the foundation on the east side while they were working on the west side, and then clouds came and covered the west side. So don't tell me prayers don't work or God didn't listen. He does listen. Now here's pictures of the progress of our parish hall. We were excited. Here I am with Clint Gerke, his wife Sharon, and Helen Dockel. The Dockels are part of the parish. Once the building was done, we started getting it ready for our first liturgy. And we were like the Israelites when they went into the promised land. They were in awe and overwhelmed for all that God had done for them. Here you see Barbara Mans helping me set up the altar. Anthony Delmonico took it on his own to start cleaning and prepare our new space. Everything was dusty. Deacon Dick Hudson, a Roman Rite deacon who came and he helped us all the time. And so God bless him and God rest his soul. From where the altar was, we had bleachers covered with carpeting. It was raised up like a platform, like a bema. Here you see Marcy Haddock and her husband, Pat Biddick and so many others, Missy Sokol with all of her kids. And on December the 7th, we had a very nice dinner. Here we see Reverend John Price and his wife, who was the pastor of St. George's Episcopal Church. They're standing talking with Archbishop Sayek, and they were wonderfully generous to us. So God bless them. Reverend Price is the one who opened the doors to us, handing me a set of keys to the whole church complex. They were wonderful to us, and we appreciate them most very much. Here are 2 dear friends of mine, Father David Milkey from Detroit, who worked in Maronite parishes. He became a close friend and good advisor. Father Robert Carl, we've been pastor of the Byzantine Parish St. John Chrysostom in Houston. Later, he moved back to Pittsburgh area, and we remained friends up until his passing the latter part of 2022. And Father Milky was such a support and encouragement to me. Really a good, both of them good friends. Archbishop Zeg talking at the podium with Louis Ziggup as he's playing Louis is the MC. Edward Karam with his mother Josephine and Court Bishop John Trott. Myrtle and Joe Pashera. Guys from our first choir, Paul Nader, Fuad Abujadi, Najib Webby, Tony El Khoury, Abraham Hesham, along with Archbishop Zeg. George Johns always was happy to put on barbecue, do steaks to help fundraising. So God rest his soul. Excuse me. Anthony and Bobby Delmonico, my two nephews, here shown with a couple of friends. Joe and Gail Snowden and Camille and Janet Joseph. Of course, we had music and dancing. Here Marcy Haddock leading the Dopke dance, and here I am partaking of the festivities. On Sunday, December 8th, day of the dedication, as well as the Feast of the Immaculate Conception liturgy in the newly built hall was held. And you can see the pictures, all clergy vested in the chapel that we had. And here you see Monsignor James Navy, Archbishop Zeg, and Court Bishop John Trott. Dick Hudson, the deacon, preparing the bread and wine for the consecration for the liturgy. During the liturgy, Father Nami, myself, Archbishop Zeg, and Court Bishop Trott. Also, we had a seminarian, Charles Ford, next to Father David Milky. Following the consecration, Louis and Charlene Ziggett graciously hosted a luncheon in honor of all the clergy and invited as well the whole parish board. We had a great time, beautiful restaurant, great food, and great company. It was really, we're launching in. Here we have Archbishop Zeg, Marcy Haddock, Father Robert Carl, myself. It was a crowning of the great weekend. Once we got established in the parish hall, we were busy trying to pay off the mortgage, raise funds. Building the church is often back in everyone's mind. It was always in the back of our minds. In order to encourage our people, we even had one of our stained glass windows, the Annunciation window, manufactured by Foster Glass Company in College Station. And we were offering memorials. People were buying memorials to help pay for the church. They bought bricks, and we pray still to this day, all those remember the bricks of love with liturgy every fourth Sunday of the month. We didn't have a lot. We didn't have money to spend. We had this podium that we used like Ike Ermis's custom-made, the podium. Later on, Ike Ermis also made the kneeler in the church, in the confessional, reconciliation room, and he built wonderful cabinets we appreciate all the time in the sacristy, which holds the vestments. They slide in, slide out. They're deep, they're flat, so the vestments are laid down and without stress on them being hung. Ike worked as a cabinet maker, and he made all these things, creations from scrap wood. And instead of throwing out nice wood and throwing away, he saved it and used material to produce them for the church. Here is Court Bishop John Trott with me. Court Bishop Trott was pastor of St. George Parish in San Antonio for 16 years. A wonderful man and wonderful priest. When we had our first liturgy, he told parishioners, the pastor by himself cannot make a clap, and he showed his right hand. And the community alone cannot make a clap. He raised the left hand without this. And one cannot make a clap at all without combined. And it's only when the two work together that you can make the clap. That makes the parish. Here was Eddie Latouf, a veteran who saw beaches in Normandy, and one of his sons. Eddie went through World War II and was a prisoner of war and survived it. And a great love for the church. Alfredo Decorat in the kitchen with Yolanda Teran, two important workers. He was always involved. Most people know him as he was ushering and sitting on the table as you come in to get a book. He would sit at the table, and when people come in, he would hand them the liturgy books. John and Pat Courtier, they were very quick, not only to purchase a window, but they wanted to know what else they could buy. And I told them, how about the sanctuary lamp? They said, you find it, and we'll buy it. I was looking for the right one, and I wanted something that would fit the church perfectly. It'd have to, blend. It had to work with it. Finally, I found the right one. And I told them, tell them where to buy it. And they looked at me and said, well, we want to propose to you either a trip to Europe with us to Italy, Rome, and Czech Republic for your 25th anniversary to the priesthood, or we'll buy the sanctuary lamp. Let us know. So the next week I was praying, and they came up to me, said, well, what do you want? I prayed about it. So I said, John, you're buying the sanctuary lamp, and Pat, you're taking me to Europe. Because I wanted both. I didn't want to miss one or the other. They laughed, and they did buy the sanctuary lamp, and I did go to Europe with them 6 months after the dedication of our church. I had a fabulous time. Our hall, the parish hall, was used for meetings, fundraisers, and liturgies. We had fundraisers constantly. A men's club meeting in the parish hall. We would pull out a table and we started meeting. We also had $10,000 drawdowns, a bunch of them. They were loads of fun. You get a meal and a chance to win $10,000. It was done by process elimination, and usually it stopped with the 5 people left standing, and most times they wouldn't draw, but split the money. Each would get $2,500 of gift cards. We had classes for the kids, and here I'm giving classes to the kids. Now they're grown up people, and they're having children of their own. Every year we spent money to send them to national retreats, and we paid for airfare and registration fees. We invested in our kids, and here are MYO putting on a taco breakfast to help them raise more funds to get to the national events. Youth choir singing and practicing. We had lots of activities for our kids, parties, all of us. We used to have picnics and spray each other with water. It was loads of fun. We built a community that not only worked together, but we enjoyed being together. Here we're at Salt Lick, and we had the whole pavilion to ourselves. Great time. We even had parish picnics. We would pull out our water guns, and like I said, and get wet. Card games, everything. We took a trip to the museum in Fort Worth. We chartered a bus. People got on, and we had like 35 people going on that trip. We went up early in the morning, and we came back in the evening. Most of the fun was just going on the bus together. Some people taking naps, others playing cards, chatting. I think we had more fun going back than we do. Back then, we had more fun than we do now. We kept using our chapel for our Wednesday liturgy, and we stayed in it till 1996, when we moved to prepare for the building of the church. Here's a picture of our altar in the chapel. Those are the people that attended the Wednesday night liturgies. Mary Meadow, who passed, and she always was working around the church, cleaning, and she'd walk over and do it. Sweet lady. Deacon Joe and his wife, they passed. Mrs. Magoni. Another picture on the porch of our chapel together. Join me next month when we talk about the breaking the ground of our church. You will enjoy this journey too, and I'm glad you're enjoying this. This is a history of our parish, and we've been a long way, gone a long way, and done so much. We've been blessed by God and blessed by the different beautiful people we've had and we have. Thank you. God bless.